Marvel Rivals, a game that I've never played before but couldn't avoid hearing about. It's taken the internet by storm, allowing you to play as all your favorite Marvel heroes and villains like Iron Man, the Green Giant, Mortal Kombat Man, Tobey Maguire, Tree Guy, and Captain America, among many others. At the time of recording, there are 38 playable characters, with Ultron coming out on May 30th, and I'm sure even more in the future. I'm a frog who, like I said, has never played Rivals before, so for this video, I wanted to do something that would let me get the full Marvel Rivals experience, win a match as every single character, and see what each has to offer. The Marvel Rivals team themselves offered to sponsor me in this quest, which I accepted on the condition that I could be completely honest with my feedback. Also worth mentioning, the only Marvel movie I've ever seen is the first Iron Man, so for the most part, I have no clue who these people are.
Who are you people?
Let's hop in. To choose which character I'd start with, I did the obvious thing and wrote down all 38 characters on pieces of paper and mixed them up in a St. Louis Battlehawks beanie before blindly drawing them. First up, Jeff the Land Shark. Jeff the Shark is like a dog, except he's a shark. Despite this being my first game, I felt at home playing as a shark because one time a girl texted me that I look like Lenny from Shark Tale. By holding right trigger, Jeff fires a blast of water. I was confused though because I was hosing the other team down, but they didn't seem to be losing any health. It wasn't until later that I learned this was Jeff's healing ability. Jeff's secondary attack, as I discovered, shoots water balls that do damage enemies, so upon making this discovery, I actually started contributing and getting some knockouts. We lost the first round, but thankfully this game mode is best 2 out of 3, and round 2 got off to an amazing start when, in the waiting area, I learned that I could ride the Tree Guy. I used Jeff's ultimate ability for the first time, where he swallows up enemies and allies, healing the allies and damaging the enemies, and you can carry each wherever you want and spit them out. I accomplished basically nothing my first time using it, but even though I wasted my ultimate and was a healer who didn't heal anyone, we somehow won round 2. I used my ultimate again in round 3 to better, but still mostly useless results, then walked off the edge into a pit of lava. The score was 42% to 99%, with our team managing to stay in the objective to contest it and force overtime. And despite me mostly being a burden to the team, somehow, someway, we held out. I got a double kill at the very end, that was cool, and we won. This first game was by far the worst I played in this video, and things will get better, but hard carry or not, I was done with Jeff. Moving on. Next up, Emma Frost, who looks like the girl that used to beat me up and steal my lunch money in 5th grade. For my first match as Emma Frost, I tried a different mode, Conquest, which is where you kill enemy players and they drop orbs to pick up for points. First team to 50 wins. Emma Frost's main attack is an ice beam to damage enemies, and there's another ability that puts her in an ice suit and she can punch people. Good news, the enemy team did not get to 50 points. Bad news, it was only because time ran out. They smoked us 38 to 25. Before Game 2, I really studied Emma Frost's moveset, determined to do better in the second game and lock up a dub. And for Game 2, I went back to one of the objective game modes and did play the objective instead of being a heathen. I definitely didn't play amazing, but I did my job. I held the point almost the entire game and got an 11-player knockout streak, and used her ultimate for the first time, which is a barrier that she holds up that does damage, and if they stand in front of it too long, they fall into a trance, probably because of her giant thighs. And at the very end, I helped us lock up the point to win the round. In the second round, I continued, getting a lot of eliminations. I like playing as Emma Frost. She was solid, and after the disaster class that was me as Jeff, this was a solid improvement. We lost round 2 anyway though. But then in round 3, we simply ran them off the court. At one point we got something called an ace, which just means we wiped out their entire team, and after that they seemed to just pretty much give up. Like, they didn't even contest the point again until we had a 99% captured, where I got a 15 knockout streak before dying and my teammates finished the job. In quite the contrast to the previous game, I had 34 eliminations to only 8 deaths, and I got 2 likes. Huge. Make sure to hit the like button on this video and let's see if we can try to beat that. Emma Frost was a good character. I like her, would play again, but alas, I have a video to make. For my third character, I drew Iron Man. Iron Man is in a perpetual state of flight and can zoom real fast. The benefit of flying is that some characters straight up just can't attack you if you're too high, whereas other characters can, but the person controlling them doesn't know how to look up. Unfortunately, that was not the case in this game, and despite flying, shooting proton torpedoes out of my hands, and a laser beam from my chest, we got absolutely dog-walked. You could say we got crushed or demolished. We were like fish in a barrel. We were a group of toddlers walking into the pit bull's den. I came alive somewhat as the game progressed and got a hang of Iron Man's abilities, so despite us losing, I felt confident going into Game 2. And rightfully so, because I wrecked shop, I embarrassed their Iron Man, KO'd everyone I saw, used Iron Man's ultimate, which is just an insta-kill blast, and round 1 was in the books. I continued my complete and utter domination of the other team's Iron Man in round 2, as well as the rest of their team. We won round 2 without a problem. I played so well that I was awarded MVP. My first time being MVP in Marvel Rivals. I went 21-4. Call me Iron Frog. No one liked me though, so I had to like myself. Who's next? John McCain, Winter Soldier. This is a character that I have zero familiarity with except that they named a movie I haven't seen after him. He comes equipped with a pistol that actually does pretty good damage, the trade-off being he reloads after only 3 shots. He's also got this lunge move and this jump in the air and bring the hammer down move. It was my first time playing this game mode where there's a thing to escort with one team on offense and one on defense. When the offense is in control, it progresses, and when the defense is in control, it goes back slightly. I was on defense, and I did better than I expected, but as a team, we did terribly and got beaten handily. But I did secure SVP, which is MVP for the losers. You goddamn millennials and your participation trophies. In game 2, I learned that I could throw an energy ball. The problem is it does nothing if you completely miss. And once again, I was doing all right. This time we were on offense. I started 18-3 and we were rolling until we hit this choke point. For some reason, they just completely locked us up here. We had nearly 5 minutes to get to the end, but we got stopped in our tracks and lost, and I played terribly, going from 18-3 to finishing at 29-13. I guess I had 6 assists too, but who cares about those? Imagine being a team player. I played another game where I joined at the very end, and the team I became a part of was about to lose, so I played as Iron Man again for shivs and giggles. Then it was back to Winter Soldier. I was worried that I may never win as Winter Soldier, and it would just prove to be too difficult, seeing as I was worse with him than Emma Frost or Iron Man. Then again, if I could win as Jeff the Shark doing literally nothing, then I guess anything is possible. And it certainly was, because as my grandmama always says, 3rd time's a charm. We locked up another win with me having the mediocre stat line of 15 knockouts and 5 deaths. Who could be number 5, you ask? Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon is like Jeff the Shark in that they can both damage people, but they're support classes whose main job is to heal people. Now with significantly more game experience than Zero, I understood this and did my job. Kind of. I leaned a bit too heavy into the damage part of my gun rather than the heal allies mode early on, but this improved over the game. Nonetheless, my first game as Rocket Raccoon, we lost handily. My second game, I came to play. This time taking out enemies, handing out health, riding Treebeard, and even using his ultimate ability, which is the thing he throws that gives nearby allies bonus health and a damage boost. Neato. We were on defense, and the other team did manage to push quite a ways getting into the final segment, but with multiple minutes left, we held the line like Captain Kira said to, and secured another fat dub. I had 38 knockouts, only 6 deaths, and 20 assists, which now that I had a lot, I care about. Rocket Raccoon's a really good character, I like him. Now for my next trick, I draw Black Panther. Black Panther was a massive change from the other characters I had played to this point. He has a spear he can throw, but it doesn't do that much damage. The main way he inflicts damage on enemies is by getting in nice and close and scratching him. I don't think I did horrible in the first round, despite us losing 100% to 0. I was 3-4. But you know what? My team chat said to lock in, so let's lock in. I died 4 times in a row to start round 2 and played terrible. Then I used Black Panther's super, which spawns a giant cat of some kind, who knows, and I killed no one with it. But then I killed Star-Lord and we got an ace. We are so back.
Don't pay attention to the score.
We made a bit of progress on the objective, but they managed to push it to 99 and we were on the brink. I was actually getting the hang of this now and killing people whenever I wasn't walking off into lava pits. And somehow, someway, after getting blanked in round 1, we managed to come all the way back after being down big in round 2 and secure the victory. All we need to do is carry that momentum forward and we'll walk away with the win in round 3. Let's go. We lost. I played another one of those kill people games afterwards and our team won and I was only moderately carried, but that's good enough for me. Moving on. Next we have Captain America. Captain America is really fun. He has a shield, of course, which he can attack or block with, and the most health of anyone I played so far was 700. Rock Flag and Eagle Man had basically no learning curve for me. He seems really simple, and we dominated the first round. In round 2, they put up a much better fight, and we ended up losing 99 to 100, ripperoni. But alongside the Frog Master, I knew anything was possible, and we'd be able to secure the win. I should probably mention Captain America's ultimate ability. It's like his regular state, except he's a lot stronger. Like I said, simple. His dash attack is also simple, but be careful not to dash off a cliff. We were at 97% and they made it to 99%, but I got a good timed ultimate and we managed to drive them off, securing the nail-biting victory. I didn't check my stats at the end to show you, I'm sorry. Who will follow up Team America? The Human Torch. The Human Torch is like a firefighter. A firefighter meant the exact opposite of what it does currently. It was this game where I learned that I can check abilities mid-match and read over everything here instead of having to study prior and after the game. The enemy team also had a Human Torch, whom I made it my mission to embarrass and succeeded at. There isn't much to say about Fireman Ed or the match. He shoots fireballs at people and flies around, and we dominated round 1. Then round 2, they quickly made it to 99% before we remembered how to play the game and came all the way back to win. It's like we let them think they were gonna get it just to break their spirit. For character number 9, we have Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is a character who, if I didn't play this game, I wouldn't have believed was a real thing, and whose name I have trouble saying for some reason. Squirrel Girl. She carries a slingshot that fires acorns and has ears and a tail like a squirrel, which I'm sure makes her very popular in specific parts of the internet. Rule 30 Squirrel is also voiced by Lily from the AT&T commercials, which I didn't believe until I looked up because it doesn't sound like her. She does a really good bucktooth squirrel lady voice.
I'm not done with this fight yet.
We were on the attack in this game and we were nearly stopped in the very first phase, which didn't bode well for us in the game. However, I started off really bad, and it was about that time I noticed the Squirrel Girl was 8 stories tall. It was about that time I figured out how to own with Sandy and picked up my slack. Her ultimate ability is called Squirrel Stampede, and I think it's the most memorable ultimate in the entire game because of how she yells.
Only 60 seconds left.
It's peak. After nearly getting shut out at the start, we managed to come back. Easy. After Squirrel Girl, we have the Punisher. I've heard of the Punisher before, but never knew he was a Marvel character. Now playing with him, I learned he was a dude with a gun. And despite obviously playing my fair share of shooters, I was horrendous as Punisher. One of his abilities is where you can place down a big turret anywhere you want. Unfortunately, not even this could prevent us from getting steamrolled and losing. In Game 2, I was determined to play better and do what I could to get us a win. Not because I care about winning, but because I needed to get to McDonald's not only before they closed, but before it was close enough to closing that although they were still technically open, they'd be annoyed at me for coming in late and potentially spit my food. And I did play better in Game 2, but that didn't matter because we lost again anyway. All the other characters so far, I was able to win as in 1 or 2 games, so surely I'll be able to get the win here in Game 3. On the bright side, I was getting better at playing as the Punisher. But on the dark side, at the start of Game 4, the attackers bullied us straight through the first phase, meaning they were 1/3 of the way through with 6.5 minutes left on the clock. It's Jover. I thought I could at least get some more practice in and maybe get some good clips for when I do my MLG montage video. They had 5 whole minutes to get to the end from the last checkpoint, and at this point, I was 1-7. I was regressing horribly, and at this point, had given up all hope of winning. Then the switch flipped. I got a couple kills with my ultimate, started bullying Black Widow, and got on a 5 KO streak. I don't know what happened, but we suddenly started playing well and just held them in their spawn for the most part. They were powerless against us. They made a bit of a push at the very end, but we held on. Emma Frost was MVP, and I'd finally got my Punisher win and never had to play as him ever again. Where Barack? Who's next? Wolverine. The cool thing about Wolverine I learned with the help of this guy, Booger Steve, is that characters like Rock Guy can carry him and throw him at the opponents. But on the whole, Wolverine is exactly what I expected him to be, which is a guy who swipes people with his claw hands. He's similar to Black Panther. When you play as Hugh Jackman, you want to get up close and personal. And also, like expected, even with the help of Booger Steve, I was the opposite of good as Wolverine, and we got mollywopped in my first game. In Game 2, I beat someone to select Wolverine, which meant I really had pressure to play well now because I'm sure there's nothing worse than someone else taking the character you want and then sucking. Unfortunately, I wasn't on comms to explain to them that I was making a YouTube video and therefore am more important than them. Booger Steve and I were now teamed up, and in this game spammed the wolf toss even when it didn't really make sense. But we were pushing, which is all that matters, until we weren't. Then we lost. RIP. But no matter, because me and Booger Steve were determined to not let another win slip through our Cheeto-covered fingers. And let me tell you, we balled out. It went 3 rounds, but by round 3, the enemy team was the video game equivalent of gassed. Their thumbs must have been tired because they didn't even put up a fight and we won. Next we have Black Widow. Black Widow is a redhead, which if you're familiar with my videos, you know I'm a fan of. More importantly, she has a sniper rifle that does really good damage, if you can hit anything, which I was struggling with. But when I did land shots, it was pretty cool. She also has batons you can whack people with, but I didn't use them at all. I was born to snipe and lose. Damn you, Emma Frost. For what it's worth, I did manage to get SVP. For the next match, we played Conquest. I just camped the same spot the entire game and no one ever noticed me and we won. Booger Steve MVP, let's go. There was a mode called Giant Size Hive Mind that I didn't really understand reading the description but wanted to check out. We loaded in and everyone has giant heads, and the only 2 characters we could play as were Hawkeye or Adam Warlock, which were randomly selected by the game. Hawkeye is a bow and arrow that I wasn't particularly good with, but it didn't matter because I was hard carried through the match. Even though I didn't draw Hawkeye, I'm counting this as my Hawkeye win. If you disagree, go fuck. Back to the sorting hat. Next up we have Magneto. Today I learned Magneto was the name of a Marvel character and not a Pokemon. Magneto can fire orbs at people and shield teammates and make big bubble shields. This match, I'll just tell you, I was not good as him, and I thought this might be another Punisher situation where getting a win as him would just prove to be really tough. But in Game 2, Magneto just clicked for me and I came alive. I'm not sure why or how, but suddenly I understood exactly how to play as Magneto, and we clutched up our defense in the final segment with me getting my first ever 20 KO streak. So not only did we win the match, but I got my second MVP with with the character that at first I thought I would suck with. I went 33, 3, and 3. The angel number 3333, according to Google, often appears to individuals as a sign of growth, creativity, and spiritual guidance. So me getting good out of nowhere must have been the result of divine intervention. Next on deck we have Luna Snow. Luna Snow is another healer who does this water sliding thing that makes her run really fast. I think I did a really good job as Luna Snow and not only kept up with healing my allies, allowing us to absolutely dominate this game, but I also stepped up and got a lot of eliminations in my own right. I don't really understand what her ultimate ability is supposed to be. All I know is it heals allies that I get close to. In all my time playing Rivals, this was the most lopsided game I've played. Them not having any healers probably has something to do with it. Moving on. Next up, Hulk. To play as the Hulk, I had to select this nerdy looking guy, and after entering the match, you can immediately use his ultimate, which causes him to Hulk all over the place. And now it was my turn to throw Booger Steve. Hulk was similar to Captain America in that he wasn't complicated at all. He's a big green guy who punches people. Could 100 men beat the Hulk in a fight? Discuss. When you die as Hulk, instead of actually dying, you transform back into Jake from IT, where you then immediately get killed by the other team 9 out of 10 times. Hulk has his own ultimate besides just turning into the Hulk, where he turns into an even bigger Hulk. I threw Booger Steve at Emma Frost and missed. We beat up their team, and I played really well, and we won rather easily. We're on a roll. Another Emma Frost MVP. What is happening? Next, we have Star-Lord. I had no clue who this guy was until it was relayed to me by my inside sources,
Booger Steve,
that he's Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy. Despite being unfamiliar with Star-Lord's game, I will tell you he's peaking my favorite character to play as. He has dual full auto pistols, and I was shredding everyone with them. He can also fly, but I was so enamored by his pistols that I forgot to most of the time, at least in this game. His ultimate is also peak, where he flies up in the air and his gun starts shooting laser beams and lock on enemies and reload super fast. Unfortunately, we were on defense and they ran out of time halfway through the last segment, but we completely choked and allowed them to hold out for the win. Not a problem though, because that let me play another game of Star-Lord where we absolutely dominated. We played 2 rounds and I won both. I did great individually and got my 3rd Marvel Rivals MVP. Once again though, no one gave me a like. Feels bad, man. Up next, The Thing. I never knew that's what his name is. My entire life seeing action figures of this guy, I always thought his name was like Rockman or something. Or even like The Boulder. Gameplay wise, maybe this is just my noobness talking, but he's basically the same as Hulk, except he's orange instead of green. I'm sure there's more nuances that I just haven't picked up on yet. But either way, we got owned in this game and it wasn't even close. Game 2, on the other hand, was a completely different story. I beat up their Thing as well as the rest of their team, nailed a Booger Steve throw directly at their Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing's ultimate is where he yells it's clobberin time and hits the ground, stunning everyone in his way for a few seconds. It's solid. What was also solid was our win. Following Thing, we have Thor. Feel like I'm talking like Mike Tyson. Thor is another big boy who has a hammer that he bludgeons bad guys with in his quest to rescue Natalie Portman. For a ranged attack, he can throw his hammer. This first game got off to a great start with us quickly getting to 99%, but then they woke up and came all the way back. I used Thor's ultimate where he yells it's hammer time and brings the hammer down, but I killed no one and we lost the round. Then we lost round 2 as well, ending the game. Fortunately, this video was only about winning 1 game per character, not winning every game, and in game 2, I played a solid match and we won. Next up, Scarlet Witch. I always thought her name was WandaVision because of that show. She can use magic and disappear and whatnot, but in this first game, she couldn't do anything because we got absolutely locked in by the other team at the start. We were stuck in spawn for most of the game and made basically no progress and lost. But this was yet another case of me having a terrible first game and following it up with a great second game. And maybe it's not me actually figuring the character out, maybe the other team just sucks. Who knows? At the end of round 1, I was 17-1. We lost round 2 as is customary, then locked them up in round 3 to secure the win. I didn't get MVP though, this other blonde lady who isn't Emma Frost got it instead. Next, Adam Warlock. Before playing this game, I had never heard of this character in my life. I still have no idea what Marvel series he's even a part of. I'm gonna assume that he's a bad guy though. He kind of gives me bad guy vibes. That being said, even though I had no idea who he was, I really liked playing as Adam Warlock. He has a staff that fires laser beams at people and he can heal allies, so I was doing a lot of damage and healing my teammates while we escorted a purple holographic panther. This was one of the shortest matches I've played on Rivals, with us securing the win in about 5 minutes. But yet again, I was robbed of MVP by whatever this thing is. Up next, Mantis, who I do recognize as a member of the Guardians of the Globe, even though I know nothing else about her. Lore-wise, that is, because in-game she was another healer and can give allies damage boosts. I think I'm really good as a healer. It isn't that hard. You just have to pay attention and not let your allies die, and in between healing them, get a few shots in yourself. I did get killed by a squirrel stampede at one point, but overall I played well as Bug Lady and our team dominated, and it was yet another first game, first win. Now it's time for EJ's Nito Stat of the Moon Knight. With how many easy wins I'd had prior, I guess I was due for a bad one. I'm not going to say the Moon Knight himself is bad. It very likely could just be a skill issue, but I couldn't accomplish anything with him. He's a DPS character that I couldn't do any damage with, and he only has 250 health. I suffered a game 1 loss, then a game 2 domination on this same map where we got trapped in the spawn earlier, except even worse than last time, because at least last time we did make a little bit of progress at the end. We didn't fill up a single bit of the bar in this game. We made literally 0 progress. In game 3, I played a bit better, but we got held up and lost again. Booger Steve had to take a break while I was playing as Moon Knight, so he wasn't around. Maybe that was the problem. But then finally, in game 4, we were on offense and made it to the end in the final 10 seconds, getting me my win. This was the longest I played on any character, and the practice paid off because somehow I got MVP. I don't take back what I said, though. I am not good with this character. I don't know how I pulled that off, but I'll take it. We're on to Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman is yet another healer who, using my superior powers of deduction, I concluded must be part of the Fantastic Four. Call me Sherlock Holmes. I started by getting killed by another squirrel stampede, then got to work, which as a YouTuber I'm not used to doing, and was healing the heck out of people, but it wasn't much use as we got steamrolled again. I've yet to mention that Invisible Woman has the power to turn invisible, but I figure that didn't need to be said. Her ultimate throws down a big shield thing where allies inside get healed and can't be seen from the outside. It can be super useful in these objective game modes. And once again in this game, I was just really comfortable as a healer. I guess maybe that's my thing that I'm best at. We won easily, and I wasn't MVP though, despite having 35 eliminations, 37 assists, and only 1 death, but no matter because I'm a team player. Forget what I said earlier in the video. Coming up next, Hella. Hella is a witch lady, and she's hella good. I played 1 game as her and instantly got it. She's pretty much just a ranged character, and I was throwing magic at people and then flying up in the sky and yelling Hell Unleashed and raining down terror on people. She reminded me of Adam Warlock, except she doesn't heal anyone. But yeah, she just immediately clicked, and I not only won my very first game, but got another MVP. Next up, Iron Fist. Iron Fist is a martial artist. For me, as someone who took Taekwondo when he was 9 years old and got to purple belt, I obviously know a lot about martial arts, and that translated to the game where I punched the lights out of people. Kind of. I started off really slow and we lost the first round in large part because of me. Then we started off bad in round 2, and as is a common occurrence, things suddenly clicked and I started owning. We came back in round 2 to win comfortably, then in round 3, they didn't know what happened to him and we smoked him to bring home the W. We're now running low on pieces of paper. Doctor Strange, who I know is played by Benedict Cumberbatch in the movies, and that's about it. He has the ability to place portals on different parts of the map, so I placed 1 leading to the objective from our spawn. This seemed to be counterproductive though and just confuse everyone. Benedict Cabbage Patch can also throw up a big old barrier to protect everyone and has range magic blasts he throws, and he can fly. He's very skillful. I was bad this first game though and we lost. As is customary, then in game 2, you'll never believe this, I played great going 33-3 and we locked up the win. I once again didn't get MVP though, despite being the main character. Not of the game, just life in general. You're all NPCs and none of my comment section is real. Next up, Penny Parker. I tried Googling who Penny Parker is and it only made me even more confused. She's like a 13-year-old in a big spider suit and multiverse stuff and is related to Peter Parker in some way. I don't understand it. I sucked as this character and I never really learned the proper way to play her, I don't think. There was another Penny Parker in this game on the other team who consistently just wrecked me. I charged at him with my ultimate at one point and don't think I did anything at all, and from that point on, he just focused me because he probably realized I had no clue what I was doing. So we got rolled in game 1. Then in game 2, Booger Steve finally rejoined. The boys are back in town. I played better, but still not great, but either our team was a lot better as a whole or the bad team was a lot worse because we won round 1 and round 2 to get the sweep and the victory despite me being terrible. Next is Mr. Fantastic. I'm going out on a limb and guessing he's also part of the Fantastic Four. Kind of like Rock Guy in earlier matches when I was fighting against him, I thought his name was something like Stretch Man, because that's what he does. He stretches. Then he gets really big. He has the ability to instantly switch between a bulk or a cut cycle. This game really made me mauled because we were winning the entire game and pushing them back consistently, then at the very end we got held up. Their healers were really good and ours not so much near the end, no offense. I was annoyed, but onwards we go. Thankfully my dry spell didn't last much longer, as in game 2, Booger Steve and I returned to our dominant ways, securing my win as Mr. Fantastic. It's time for Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger are actually 2 different heroes who you can switch between. Dagger is a healer who looks exactly like Invisible Woman, and Cloak is a damager who looks less like Invisible Woman. At first I was focused on just being a healer as Dagger, and I wasn't really using Cloak. This was bad, and we had another game where we got wrecked. The second game was better, but I think this is a character that just takes longer to get used to. You kind of have to get a feel for switching, and each of them has their own unique moveset to remember it's tricky. So game 2 was another loss, on to game 3. In game 3, I was a lot lot better. I had the hang of it now to a better degree at least. I had a triple elimination at the very end, so that was cool, and we got the win. Unfortunately, Pissmaster 27 was MVP. Next up, Magic. Magic is not only the name of a Coldplay song, but also a lady with a big sword that does giga damage to people. She's on the opposite end of the complicated spectrum. She's really simple. Personally, I'm also on a spectrum. I didn't play amazingly as Big Sword Lady, but I was on a really good team and we owned. And I chased people around hitting them with my big yellow sword. Not even an Emma Frost could stop us. Easy win. Next is Groot. Groot is a big tree guy who would probably make for a good campfire. He can put up walls and punch people. He has insane health at 850. His attacks are also ranged, so that's really helpful. In this match, I would occasionally have to punch our healer, because even if we were alone together, they just wouldn't heal me for some reason. First round, we won easily. Then round 2, we got off to a huge lead that we promptly blew. Then in round 3, we blew the entire match. Unfortunate. But I was good as Groot again in game 2, and we locked up the win. I don't know who this woman is, but I'm sure I can fix her. Namor. Namor has a trident that he throws like Brick Tamland and places down calamari that shoot at the bad guys and are kind of annoying to go against. I take it he's supposed to be the god of the sea or something, so it checks out. He was somewhat mid. I didn't hate him or love him. Looking at him, he probably takes creatine, so that's good. But either way, I did well with him, going 16-2, and we got the first game win. You love to see it. Next up, we have Psylocke. Psyduck is a lady with a sword. I was not good with her and did absolutely nothing in this game. So you're probably thinking, oh boy, another character where Frog sucks in game 1 then comes alive in game 2. Wrong. I did suck in game 1, but I got completely carried. I don't think I can give an accurate assessment of Psylocke since I was horrible in this game, but won anyway. I'll take the W. Oh look, it's another Emma Frost MVP. On the home stretch, next is Storm. Storm is a really interesting character. She flies and uses magic, and at first I was under the completely incorrect assumption that she sucks, but this was 100% on me and a skill issue because I wasn't paying attention to her abilities. So we lost our first game, whatever, then our second game, whatever, then game 3, I looked over the moveset again and realized there was an essential ability I just wasn't using, where you can give all allies around you either a damage boost or a movement boost at all times. Like, this ability lasts forever. There's just a radius around her, and if your teammates are in it, they get the bonus. In previous games where we lost, I simply wasn't using this free power-up for the entire team. Her ultimate is also really good. She turns into a tornado and murders people, but with this revelation of how to actually play as her, I f***ing dominated. Not enough for MVP though, but 37 kills, 39 assists, holy moly. We're on to Venom. Venom is like Spider-Man, except big and black and scary looking, but he can still zoom around with web swings, although I didn't do too much of that. He's an 800 health tank, and for the most part, I just hit people with my big scary Venom tentacles. He also has an ability that just gives him extra health, so when you get low health, you can just pop on a few hundred more HP and be solid. We lost game 1 though. Then game 2, I dominated and gobbled people up as Venom's ultimate as I fought through Stark Fujikawa. We played well as a team, I played well individually, another blonde lady won MVP, and I had my Venom win. 2 characters left. The pin ultimate is Loki. Loki is an interesting character to say the least. His main attack can damage enemies or heal allies depending on who you aim it at, and he can spawn duplicates of himself that attack enemies and heal allies. They're as annoying as a squid. Yet once again, we were on defense and getting pushed back easily in my first game as a new character. They had 7.5 minutes to get to the end from the last checkpoint, which in any normal society would mean the game was over. However, this is Yggdrasil, and anything was possible. Long story short, I locked in. I was healing and damaging and Lokiing, and somehow we completely shut them and their stupid orange venom down. We actually managed to hold out on the last segment for 7.5 minutes and pull off the win. Crazy. And another blonde lady was MVP. There's only one character that could be left, and it's the amazing Spider-Man. Do I need to explain Spider-Man's abilities? He can swing on webs and shoot webs at people and punch them. Addendum to what I said at the start, I think I watched the Spider-Man movie as a kid, but I remember literally nothing from it except the end where Green Goblin dies, spoiler alert. Booger C was back with me for this last game as Venom, so we were the amazing arachnids. And it was amazing how much we owned with me as Spider-Man, who I expected to be bad with at first because of how different he is than everyone else. Obviously, there's a lot more playing of Marvel Rivals I can do, but I'll say now I enjoyed my time with it so far, and I'm not really typically a new kind of game person. You can download it for yourself with my link in the description or pinned comment. Booger Steve and I will definitely be playing more, so if you see us in a lobby, say hello. Speaking of Booger Steve and myself, we ruled and got the win, which meant I had now won as every single character in Marvel Rivals. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Shout out Marvel Rivals again for sponsoring this video. Shout out to my patrons as always, and of course, Booger Steve. Bye.